Hello everyone and welcome. I just wanted to give everyone a quick update on some of the things that I've been working on. And I also have some encouraging insights on Quinton Simon's case as well. So I want to touch on that a little bit too. I do want to say right straight off the bat that I am not going to talk about the exact location of Dylan Round's body. Okay, so if that's why you're watching this video, you can go ahead and click off right now. I am not going to talk about the exact location of Dylan Round's body. I did not see that. All right. Also, by the same token, if you are here for drama, if you are here for clout, if you are here for me to feed some crazy conspiracy theories or to fuel into that you have come to the wrong place, okay? That is not what this channel is about, and that is not what this video is going to be about. I do want to start this video with just a small amount of personal information, just because I never took the time to go back and do an actual introduction video, and I want people to understand a little bit more why I do this and why it's so important to me. My family and I personally have experienced the horrific event of having a loved one gone missing. I do not want to get into the specifics of it in this particular video, but just know that she went missing. We had absolutely no idea where she was for 2 weeks, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. It was actually kind of a 6-week situation. And it did not turn out well. It did not go the way that we hoped in any way whatsoever. So I have been there. I have been the person who's sitting there not knowing what happened and not knowing if your loved one is ever coming home. It's been 12 years, but as I'm sure you can tell, I'm still getting pretty emotional about it. It doesn't really control my life at this point. Obviously, it's been a long time. But when I talk about the specifics of it, it does still make me very upset. So, long story short, my gifts didn't really help me a whole lot during that situation. And I'm positive that it was because I was too close to the situation. I was blocking myself. There was too much anger. There was too much pain. So I kind of feel a little guilty about that. I guess I feel like I failed her. So I want to do this because I genuinely want to help other people. I want other families and other people in this situation to feel like they did as much as they possibly could. And I know that nobody is ever going to feel like they did everything that they could, but anything that I can do to help someone else avoid at least a small amount of the pain that my family felt, I want to do that. Okay, so let's just go ahead and let's just jump right into what I actually want the video to be about. I want to give you guys my initial thoughts on looking into Dylan Round's case. Now, as I had mentioned in the comments that I made, the replies that I made to people who asked me to look into his case, I am definitely late to the situation. I had not followed Dylan's case. I had not looked into his case very much. Obviously I knew of it, but I didn't know any of the specifics of it at all. So what I did in order to look into the case was I watched interviews with Dylan's parents. I did not watch anything else. I did not watch any YouTube creators. I did not read any news stories. I only watched the interviews that I could find, every interview that I could find with Dylan's mother and father. During the first interview that I watched, and I honestly don't know which one it was, you guys, I watched hours of interviews with his parents. But during the first interview that I watched, as soon as Dylan's mother, Candace, as soon as she started talking about Jim Brenner, I got kind of a flash in my mind of this scruffy, unkempt looking dude with like, you know, a big bushy beard and like fuzzy hair. And I saw him and Dylan struggling over something. So I was like, okay, I don't know anything about the case. Let me go out and see what Jim Brenner looks like. So I looked up a picture of Jim Brenner, and I'll be damned, that was the guy that I saw. So I figured, okay, I guess I am going to be able to get at least a little something about Dylan's case. So I went ahead and I watched the rest of the interviews, and then I just tried to, I know this sounds cheesy, you guys, but I just tried to kind of tap into the energy that I knew that I was feeling from the family. Because while Dylan's mother does have, you know, just all kinds of energy coming off of her, I can tell that his dad is just particularly hurting from all of this. You know, I think that him and Dylan might have been very close, and I can tell that it's really hurting him on a different level. And I'm not saying that to diminish his mother's pain in any way whatsoever. But I think that his mother is more focused on maybe the drive and the anger that she feels about everything that's happened with her son. And that's what she's using to keep her going, maybe. Whereas his dad, I think his dad is just really fighting it. You know, I don't know, I think that he's just struggling a little. That really gets to me. I'm not saying that his mother doesn't need support. She absolutely does. But she's a very strong person. You can tell that she's very strong. So anyway, I was able to see something. I was able to see what happened to Dylan. I was able to see roughly the area where I believe that he was taken. But as I've explained in other videos, what I saw was not as detailed as what I saw with Quinton's case. It was somewhat fragmented. Okay, so I had a couple of visions where I saw, you know, a few seconds or maybe even a minute very clearly, but then it would break off. Many of you are going to be disappointed to know that at this moment, I am not going to share the specifics of what I saw with you guys, okay? And I'm going to tell you why here in just a little bit. What I will tell you is my initial thoughts and my initial, you know, assessment based on what I saw is that Dylan's parents are 100% right in everything that they think. They are 100% right with the way that they said, okay, they think that Jim Brenner did it. I agree. That's correct as far as what I see. They believe that he snapped, that it was a snap reaction, and I absolutely agree with that. That's exactly what I saw. And they also thought that he did not remove the truck or Dylan from the shed until Sunday. And I believe that as well. And they had mentioned several times in the interviews that I watched that it's a kind of a well-known fact or whatever in that area. And even Brenner had mentioned it himself at one point that if you're going to dispose of someone, then the best place to do it is in the wash. And I think that they are absolutely right with that. I am pretty positive that that's exactly what he did, that he took him out to the wash. Like I said, though, at the beginning of the video here, I do not see the exact location. And you guys have to try to understand, if you have not looked at this area, it is huge. It is huge, and everything looks so similar that it is very difficult to tell what anything is. It's not like in Quinton Simon's case where I could see like landmarks and stuff like that. This is literally a desert. You guys, this is literally barren ground. Now, the reason that I don't want to share the exact specifics of what I saw as far as what actually happened to Dylan at this point is because I feel like this is a different situation. With the Quinton Simon case, I have to be honest with you guys, I couldn't give a rat's ass less what Leilani Simon or Billy Joel Howell or anyone else in that family thinks about the way that I portrayed my vision or anything like that. I could not care less. My only worry with that is that somebody in that family might hear my video and thwart the whole discovery of Quinton, which I really hope that that doesn't happen. That was not what I was trying to do. But in this situation, I have a great deal of respect for Dylan's parents. I think that they are good people. I think they were trying to let Dylan have his freedom. And I also feel that Dylan was a smart, headstrong, independent kid, and he was going to do what he was going to do. He was determined to do what he was going to do, and his parents were doing their best to deal with that. Anyway, I don't want to do anything to... It's not about compromising the investigation, because in my opinion there hasn't been any investigation short of what outside agencies have done. But the Box Elder County Sheriff's Department, they have screwed that family. And I do want to clarify also that I do agree with Candace, and I don't think that it has anything to do with corruption. It's not like the Kylie Rodney case. It's not a bunch of people involved in a bunch of weird stuff. This is sheer incompetence. This is sheer incompetence. This is sheer laziness. This is sheer, it's just another boy missing in the desert. Like, they don't care. It's too much work. But the reason that I don't want to share the exact specifics of what I saw is because I think that there's a possibility that what I saw might actually help the family. Okay, so what I really want to do with that information is I want to speak to probably Candace directly. I want to speak to his mother, and I want to tell her what I saw, and I want to see if she thinks that anything that I say might be able to help, because maybe she knows something, maybe it will spark something that they saw during all of their searches and everything in her memory. I don't know what it might do for her, but I want to reach out to Dylan's mom first before I say anything publicly. And then if she wants me to share what I think I know, or if she chooses not to, take any interest in what I believe I've seen, then I'll just come out and I'll say it. But if there is any chance that keeping it under wraps for the moment is actually going to help them, then that's what I want to do. Also, I have to say that the real reason that I want to do this is because I honestly feel like if there's some way that they could subject Jim Brenner to a specific line of questioning, I really feel like he would crack, you guys. Like, Candace had mentioned this before, I think in one of her interviews, that she thinks that Brenner will crack. And I agree with that. I agree 100% with that. I think that if he was exposed to a certain line of questioning and he thought that there was a real chance that somebody actually knew something, that he is just going to confess everything. And like in Quinton Simon's case, law enforcement has to find little Quinton's body, because if they don't, Leilani is just going to get off scot-free. I don't think she's ever going to face any consequences if they can't find him. But in Dylan's case, they don't necessarily have to find Dylan if they can get Brenner to crack. So that is my hope. That is my biggest hope, is that I am going to be able to say something that is going to, like I said, either spark something or give them a line of questioning that they could possibly use. And I don't know how that could happen, because honestly, I don't know anything about that stuff, you guys. I know they had mentioned that their lawyer wasn't even allowed to question Brenner because he had lawyered up. But I don't know, man. I feel like there's got to be something. So anyway, I've already figured out how to reach out to Candace directly, and I'm going to do that. And I'm going to reach out to her, and I'm going to tell her what I believe, and I want her to be able to look at my channel and see that I am not someone who's just trying to get views or subscribers. I am not someone who's just trying to get rich off of her son's tragedy or anything like that. You know, I want her to understand that I am legit and that I want to help her. So I think that giving you guys the information of what I saw without talking to her first would be disrespectful. Okay? And please, guys, please be respectful of that. I don't want to cause this family any more pain. And I certainly don't want to fuel conspiracies. So if you can't get behind me for that, then that's on you. I'm just going to be real about it. If you can't get behind me on it, it's on you. Rest assured, I will convey that information. I will. It just depends on how things go initially. Okay? All right. Now, the next thing that I want to tell you guys is just something very quickly. And this is in regards to Quinton Simon's case. I don't know that there is anything to this. I don't know that it's anything real. All I know, once again, is just what I saw, what I've experienced. I had a dream about the tip that I submitted to law enforcement on Quinton's case. So it was just a very short little dream. What I saw was a female officer sitting in a chair. She was in front of a computer. I cannot definitively see the screen, so I'm not 100% certain about this, but I feel like she was watching my video. Like she was watching my video on my vision about Quinton. An older man walks into the room and he says to the female officer, "Anything?" And the female officer says, "Well, at the very least, she believes what she's saying." And then the male officer says, "Well, what do you think?" And the female officer shrugs her shoulders and she says, "I don't know. I think it's worth looking into." The male officer, he takes a deep breath and then he crosses his arms and he says, "Okay, I'll tell the chief." And then that's it. That's where it ends. And like I said, I know it's just a dream. You know, maybe it's just wishful thinking. Maybe it's just because I've gotten so much encouragement from everybody and I'm feeling very positive about the situation. But I don't know. I mean, I've had precognitive dreams my whole life. And I don't know if this felt like a precognitive dream. It did and it didn't. But I think that I might be getting a little bit too emotional about it. And sometimes I do tend to block myself when I get a little bit too emotional about situations. I mentioned that earlier. So anyway, that's just what I saw. It makes me I'm very encouraged by it at the very least. I'm very optimistic about the situation. That's about all I have to say about that. Let me go ahead and wrap this up, I guess. As always, thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. I will keep you guys updated on everything that's going on. It's been a lot. I'm a little bit overwhelmed, but I'm doing my best to keep up and to keep you guys updated, okay? So please just hang in there with me. Like I said, thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again soon. Bye.